Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unfiltered and Unapologetic, the space where we talk about healing, growth, mindset, and the deeper work of becoming who we're meant to be. And also money, without leaving our culture behind. I'm your host, Caitlin Gil-Soto, born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts, but also raised between Bani and El Cibao, and proudly Dominicana. And today, we're continuing something. If you listened to the last episode, you already know what we talked about. It didn't feel like them, it felt like you. Who you were when you were with them, how you felt, how you showed up, how alive or seen you felt in those moments. But today, we're going deeper than that because attachment doesn't just keep you connected to someone, it slowly pulls you away from yourself. And the scary part is, it doesn't happen all at once. There's no big moment where you're like, oh, I lost myself. It's subtle. You just start feeling off, a little more distracted, a little more in your head, a little less clear, and you think it's about them. You think, I just need clarity. I just need to understand what this is, or I just need them to communicate better. But if you're really honest with yourself, you don't just miss them. You haven't felt like yourself in a while. And that's what we're really getting into today. So let's start here, because this is a part people don't talk about enough. When you get attached to someone, especially someone inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or just not aligned with you, your focus shifts. Not dramatically, not overnight, but slowly. You start thinking about them more than you think about yourself. You wake up and they're on your mind. You go through your day and something reminds you of them. You check your phone, not because you need to, but because you hope. You replay conversations, you read into small things, you start trying to figure them out. And your energy, it's no longer centered. It's scattered. And that's the part that most people miss, because it doesn't feel like you're doing anything wrong. It just feels like you're thinking. But that thinking takes you out of your present life, out of your routine, out of your focus, out of yourself. And after a while, it starts to show up as, I don't feel like myself, I feel off, I don't know what's wrong with me. But nothing is wrong with you. Your attention just shifted. And where your attention goes, your energy follows. So if your energy is constantly going towards someone who is unclear, you're going to feel unclear. If your energy is going towards something inconsistent, you're going to feel unstable. That's not random. That's alignment. I have the first prompt here for you guys. When did I start thinking more about them than I think about myself? And then the affirmations for this question are, I return my energy back to myself. I choose clarity over confusion. I am grounded in who I am. But here's the thing. It doesn't feel like you lost yourself. It just feels like something is off. And that's where people stay stuck, because they think it's about the other person, when really, they're no longer centered in themselves. And this is where the shift really happens, because at some point, they stop being someone you like, and they start to become the center of how you feel. Your mood starts depending on them. If they text you, you feel good. If they don't, you feel off. If they show up, you feel calm. If they pull back, you feel anxious. And now your emotional state is tied to their behavior. Your peace depends on their consistency. Your clarity depends on what they decide to give you. And without realizing it, you've given someone else control over how you feel on a daily basis. Not because you're weak, not because you don't know better, but because that connection gave you something. It gave you a feeling. And now you're trying to hold on to it. But here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. You cannot build emotional stability on someone else's inconsistency. It will never work because you'll always be reacting, waiting, hoping, adjusting instead of being grounded. And that's how you slowly disconnect from yourself. Because instead of checking in with what you feel, you're checking your phone. Instead of asking what you need, you're waiting to see what they'll do. And little by little, you drift. I have the next journal prompt here for you guys. When did my mood start depending on this person? And the affirmation for this question is, my peace is mine. I ground myself, and I no longer depend on inconsistency to feel something. All right, now this is where everything gets confusing because what you feel feels real. It feels intense, it feels consuming, it feels like something you can't ignore. So you tell yourself, this has to mean something, or this can't be nothing. But here's the shift. Intensity doesn't always mean alignment. A lot of the time, it means activation, because when someone is inconsistent, your body reacts. They show up, you feel relief. They pull back, you feel anxious. They disappear, you feel low. And now you're in this cycle. High, low, high, low. And your body starts associating that with connection. That's a loop. And if you grew up around love that felt intense, unpredictable, something you had to earn, your body recognizes that pattern. So when something feels calm, you question it. But when something feels chaotic, you feel pulled in, and you call that chemistry. But a lot of the time, it's just familiarity. It's what your nervous system already knows, even if it's not good for you. And now you're not just attached to the person, you're attached to the feeling, the anticipation, the validation, the moment they come back and you feel okay again. And that's why it's so hard to let go, because it doesn't feel like you're losing them. It feels like you're losing something that made you feel alive. But you have to be honest with yourself. Did it actually bring you peace, or did it just keep you emotionally activated? Because those are two very different things. I have the next prompt for you guys. Does this actually bring me peace or just emotional highs and lows? And the affirmation for this question is, I do not confuse intensity with alignment. I choose peace over emotional chaos. I deserve consistency. And if you're really honest with yourself, there were moments, quiet ones, where you already knew. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, it was subtle. A feeling in your body, a moment of hesitation, something that didn't fully sit right. But instead of trusting that, you explained it away. Maybe they're busy, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe I just need to be patient. And that's where the disconnect starts. Because instead of trusting what you feel, you start negotiating with it. You start convincing yourself to stay in something that doesn't feel right. And the more you do that, the quieter your intuition gets. Until eventually, you don't even know what you feel anymore. And this is where it goes deeper. Because a part of you didn't want to walk away. A part of you wanted to be chosen. A part of you thought, if I just stay a little longer, or if I just show up better, or if I don't mess this up, maybe this will turn into what I want it to be. But that part of you isn't the part of you that knows what you deserve. That's the part of you that learned to hold on, even when something didn't feel right. And that's why you stayed. Not because you didn't know, but because letting go felt harder than staying attached. I have another prompt here for you guys. When did I first feel something was off and chose to ignore it? And the affirmation for this question is, I trust myself, I honor what I feel, I no longer ignore my own clarity. And this is the part we don't like to sit with, because it's easier to focus on what we felt than to look at what it cost us. But be honest with yourself. How much time did this take from you? How much energy? How many moments were you physically in your life, but mentally somewhere else? Thinking about them, replaying things, trying to understand what it all meant. And while you were doing that, you weren't fully present with yourself. You weren't grounded in your routine. You weren't focused on your goals. You weren't at peace. You were in a constant state of, what is this? Or where's this going? Or what are they thinking? And that kind of mental space is draining, not just emotionally, but energetically, because your focus is split. Your energy is leaking. And when your energy is scattered like that, you can't build anything solid. Not your peace, not your clarity, not the life you say you want. And this is where it connects to everything we talk about. Alignment. Because you can't say you want peace and stay in confusion. You can't say you want consistency and stay attached to inconsistency. You can't say you want something real and keep entertaining something that already showed you it's not. And again, this isn't judgment. This is awareness. Because at some point, you have to be honest about the cost. Because while you were trying to figure them out, you stopped choosing yourself. And that's where the real loss happens. I have another prompt here for you guys. What has staying in this situation been costing me, mentally, emotionally, and in my daily life? And the affirmation for this question is, I am no longer available for confusion. I choose clarity. I choose myself. And this is where the shift happens. Not overnight, not perfectly, but intentionally. You start bringing your attention back. You notice when your mind goes to them. And instead of following it, you pause. You come back to your body. You come back to yourself. And you ask, what do I need right now? Not what are they doing? Not what they meant. It's what you need. And that's where your power is. Not in controlling them, not in understanding them, but in choosing where your energy goes. Because your attention is your energy. And your energy is what shapes your life. So if your energy has been going toward confusion, you're going to feel confused. If your energy has been going toward inconsistency, you're going to feel unstable. But when you bring it back to yourself, everything starts to shift. You start to feel grounded again, clear again, like yourself again. And not because they changed, but because you did. Because you stopped looking outside of yourself for something you were always meant to build within. I have the last prompt here for you guys. What does choosing myself look like in small, everyday moments? And the affirmation for this question is, I choose myself fully. My energy belongs to me. I return to who I am. Now let's end with a prayer. Take a deep breath and put your hand on your chest. Dear God, help me come back to myself. Help me release what brings confusion and choose what brings peace. Give me the clarity to trust what I feel and the strength to choose myself. Remind me what's meant for me will feel steady, not chaotic. And teach me how to take my energy back. Amen. If this episode resonated with you, don't just listen and move on. Take a moment and actually sit with it. Journal, reflect, Be honest with yourself. And if you need something more practical, I created a guide called Stop Overthinking What to Do Instead. It's simple, direct, and helps you get out of that mental loop when you're in it real time. That's linked in the show notes. And if you want to support the podcast, leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Share this episode with someone who needs it, or support monthly. Everything is linked in the show notes. And if you take anything from this episode, let it be this. You're not crazy for feeling this way. You didn't feel too much. You didn't do too much. You just drifted away from yourself. Slowly. And now you're coming back to your clarity, to your peace, to yourself. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next episode.